Alright, this video was, the 20th and 21st of September. Jeff and I had decided to go fishing over the weekend in west central Minnesota. The first day was spent on Long Lake, and the second day was spent on Third Crow Wing. So we were looking for a classic fall pattern using square billed cranks, spinner baits, maybe some, Texas rig soft plastics, and had a pretty good time. The weather was a little unstable, as it always is in fall. Days started off about 40, 50 degrees and warmed up to maybe the mid 60s on both days. Had a good time. I do have to say before this video starts, it might look like I caught more fish than Jeff, but that was not the case. Jeff outfished me pretty much all weekend. Enjoy. Here's one of Jeff's first fish. Actually, he's probably about a minute after we started on Long. As you can see, I was using a new hat cam, and you're going to see a lot of Jeff's head cut off, and that's just because I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but this is a nice bass Jeff caught. Can't quite remember. I think he was using a square bill at that point, but Jeff caught a whole bunch of fish. I didn't get all of them on video, but this was my first fish of the day after Jeff caught 10. I finally caught one. And it was over in the weeds on a frog. Well, here's my second fish in the lilies there. Got another bass, not a real big one, but I got a bass to hit my little Booyah poppin' pad crasher in black. Use black when it's a little overcast. Jeff caught this one, and we tried to use the underwater cam afterwards, and you'll see it didn't work out great, but I wanted to leave it in. Yeah, I caught this one under a dock, and I had an audience there. A husband and wife were up watching, and they just asked us if we caught any. It's about a 2.5 pounder, I believe, and I think I was using a little Skeet Reese Pit Boss in green pumpkin, I believe. Oh, purple flake, green pumpkin with purple flake. And there you see me pointing. I thought it was their dock, but it was the other guy's dock. And then they said, "Oh, it's funny. He's a fisherman." He came out a couple minutes or a couple seconds later, and was surprised that we caught that bass underneath his dock. So that was kind of fun. Here's Jeff playing peekaboo. Peekaboo. Peekaboo, Jeff. Well, I'd like to say sorry about this again here, but as you can see Jeff about from his chest down because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. But please notice how Jeff is nice and clean in the back of the boat. Doesn't it look like Bass Pro Shops blew up back there? Well, I started the day throwing walking baits, but as you'll see, there were more misses than hits there. So I switched over to a chatterbait. I caught most of mine on a chatterbait that day. Mostly northern later on in the day, though. Bass early, but not late as much. And here's Jeff. Here I'm tying a San Diego jam knot on a different color, sexy dog. Just see if it'll work.
I guess that worked. Oh, she's barely hooked too.
Well, after I caught that one, I thought, boy, I'm going to get a bunch today, but as you see, they weren't committed.
My goodness gracious sakes alive. Folks at home, did you see that, Max?
Well, here I had caught one on a frog right up against those reeds. Didn't have the camera on when it hit, but this was a pretty good sized one. Probably best of the day for me, maybe 2.5. I can't remember exactly what it weighed, but it was a nice little bass on a black poppin' booyah pad crasher. Booyah poppin' pad crasher, my goodness. That's the one I usually use when it's kind of overcast like this, but it's a nice fish. She hit pretty good. I waited like sometimes I forget to do, and gave her enough time to get hooked up.
3 and about a quarter. Ow. I'll take those all day long. Beautiful. Right in there too.
Well, we pulled up on this point and was throwing the old sexy dog again, and another bass came out all the way out of the water this time, and still it just felt like most of the day they were slashing at it and they weren't really committed to eating it. Well, the rest of the afternoon, Jeff and I kind of worked this weed edge down one of the banks over on Second Crow Wing, and I caught fair share of northern over there on a chatterbait. Did catch a couple bass, but they seemed to be very shallow and roaming around pretty good. It was kind of hard to catch them, as you see here, this crazy little northern. And you can see the old chartreuse chatterbait bait in northern's mouth there. A lot of fish on the chatterbait, had to be chartreuse. Very shallow, so the Strike King brand seemed to get through the weeds better. Here's a bass I caught right along the this dock here. Just tossed right about halfway down and brought it back, and it seemed to want to jump out and get it. We didn't have a whole lot of luck underneath docks that day. Seemed like they wanted to chase, but they were fairly scattered. So it was not the easiest of days, but it was beautiful.
Nice little guy. Those guys weren't right there, we'd run those reeds. But we're going to turn around.
As far as equipment used, for the most of the day, I used a Veritas, as you can see there, medium heavy, 6'6" rod, and I believe that's an Abu Garcia Premier, Revo Premier, and a chatterbait chartreuse chatterbait by Strike King. Can't remember. I think it's tour grade or pro grade or something. Earlier in the day, I did use a Strike King Sexy Dog in, I think it's Ghost Minnow color. That's what I used most of the day, and I think I threw the Strike King Sexy Dog on a 6.6 St. Croix Triumph, matched up with a BPS Pro qualifier.
Pretty little chunk.
Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.